Chapter 14. The Son in Heaven. In heaven, neither the Son of the world nor anything from that Son is seen, because it is wholly natural. In fact, nature has its beginning from that Son, and whatever is produced by means of it is called natural. But the spiritual, in which is heaven, is above nature and quite distinct from what is natural. Nor is there communication between the two except by means of correspondences. What the distinction between them is may be understood from the things said before about degrees, and what the communication is from the things said in the preceding two sections about correspondences. Although the Son of the world is not seen in heaven, nor anything from that Son, yet there is a Son there, and light and heat and all things that are in the world, with innumerable others, but not from the same origin. For the things in heaven are spiritual, and those in the world natural. The Son of heaven is the Lord. The light there is the divine truth, and the heat the divine good. And those go forth from the Lord as from a sun. From this origin are all things that come into existence and appear in the heavens. But the light and heat and things coming into existence therefrom in heaven will be treated of in the following section. Here only the Son there is dealt with. The reason the Lord in heaven is seen as a Son is that he is divine love, from which all spiritual things come into existence, as do all natural things by means of the Son of the world. That love is what shines as the sun. That the Lord is actually seen in heaven as a Son, I have not only been told by angels, but it has sometimes been granted me to see it. Therefore I would here tell in a few words what I have heard and seen respecting the Lord as a Son. The Lord is seen as a Son not in heaven, but high above the heavens, and not directly overhead or in the zenith, but before the faces of the angels at a middle height. He is seen in two distinct places, noticeably apart, one before the right eye and the other before the left eye. Before the right eye he appears exactly like a sun, with, as it were, the same brilliance and size as the Son of the world. Before the left eye, however, he appears not as a sun, but as a moon, shining white like the moon of our earth and of like size, but more effulgent and surrounded with many little moons, as it were, of similar whiteness and splendour. The Lord is seen in two places with such a difference, because every person sees the Lord in accordance with the quality of his reception of him. Thus he is seen in one way by those who receive him with the good of love, and in another by those who receive him with the good of faith. Those who receive him with the good of love see him as a sun, fiery and flaming in accordance with the reception. These are in his celestial kingdom. Those who receive him with the good of faith see him as a moon, white and gleaming in accordance with the reception. These are in his spiritual kingdom. This is so because the good of love corresponds to fire. Therefore, fire in the spiritual sense is love, and the good of faith corresponds to light, for light in the spiritual sense is faith. The Lord appears before the eyes because the interior things of the mind see through the eyes, through the right eye from the good of love, and through the left eye from the good of faith. For with the angels and also with man, all things on the right side correspond to the good from which truth is derived, and all on the left to the truth which is from good. The good of faith is, in its essence, truth from good. This is why, in the Word, the Lord in respect of love is likened to the sun, and in respect of faith to the moon, and why also the sun signifies love from the Lord to the Lord, and the moon signifies faith from the Lord in the Lord, as in the following passages. The light of the moon shall be as the light of the sun, and the light of the sun shall be sevenfold, as the light of 7 days. And when I shall extinguish thee, I will cover the heavens and make the stars thereof dark. I will cover the sun with a cloud, and the moon shall not make her light to shine. All the luminaries of light in the heavens will I make dark over thee, and I will set darkness upon the land. I will darken the sun in his going forth, and the moon shall not make her light to shine. The sun and the moon shall be darkened, and the stars shall withdraw their shining. The sun shall be turned into darkness, and the moon into blood. The sun became black as hairy sackcloth, and the moon became as blood, and the stars fell unto the earth. Immediately after the affliction of those days shall the sun be darkened, and the moon shall not give her light, and the stars shall fall from heaven. And elsewhere. In these passages, the sun signifies love, the moon, faith, and the stars, cognitions of good and truth. These are said to be darkened, to lose their light, and to fall from heaven when they no longer exist. That the Lord is seen as the sun in heaven is evident also from his transfiguration before Peter, James, and John. His face did shine as the sun. Thus the Lord was seen by those disciples when they were withdrawn from the body and were in the light of heaven. It was because of this correspondence that the ancient people with whom the church was representative turned the face to the sun in the east during divine worship. Because of this also, they gave their temples an eastern aspect. How great the divine love is, and what is its nature, can be confirmed from a comparison with the sun of the world in its greatest ardour. It is, if you will believe it, much more ardent than that sun. For this reason, the Lord, as the sun, does not flow immediately into the heavens, but the ardour of his love is tempered by degrees on the way. These temperings appear as radiating belts around the sun. And in addition, the angels are veiled with a suitably thin cloud to prevent their being harmed by the influx. So the heavens are separated in accordance with the reception of influx from the Lord. As the higher heavens are in the good of love, they are nearest to the Lord as a sun, whereas the lower heavens, being in the good of faith, are further away from that sun. Those, however, who are in no good, like those in hell, are furthest away, the extent of their remoteness being according to their opposition to good. When, however, the Lord appears in heaven, which often happens, he does not appear encompassed with a sun, but in angelic form, yet distinguished from angels by the divine shining from his face. For he is not there in person, since the Lord in person is always encompassed with the sun, but he is present by view. For it is a common occurrence in heaven for persons to appear to be present in a place where the view is fixed or terminated, even when the place is very far from where they really are. This presence is called the presence of internal sight, which will be treated of in what follows. I have also seen the Lord on high, outside the sun, in an angelic form a little below the sun, also nearby in a similar form with shining face, also once in the midst of angels as a flame-like brightness. The Son of the world appears to the angels as a dense darkness from being opposite to the Son of heaven, and the moon as a darkness from being opposite to the moon of heaven, and this constantly. The reason is that the world's fieriness corresponds to the love of self, and the illumination from it corresponds to what is false from that love. The love of self is the direct opposite of the divine love. What is false from that love is the direct opposite of the divine truth. And the opposite of the divine love and the divine truth is, to the angels, dense darkness. Therefore, in the word, to worship the sun and moon of this world and bow down to them signifies to love self and the falsities that are from the love of self, and such will be cut off. Since the Lord appears in heaven like a sun by reason of the divine love, which is in him and from him, so all in the heavens turn constantly towards him. Those in the celestial kingdom to him as a sun, those in the spiritual kingdom to him as a moon. But those in hell turn towards the dense blackness and darkness which are in the opposite direction. That is, they turn backwards, away from the Lord. The reason being that all in the hells are in the love of self and of the world, thus opposed to the Lord. Those who turn to the dense darkness, that is, in the place where this world's sun is, are in the hells behind and are called genii. While those who turn to the darkness, that is, in the place of the moon, are in the hells in front and are called spirits. This is why those in the hells are said to be in darkness, and those in the heavens in light. Darkness signifies falsity from evil, and light, truth from good. They turn in that way because all in the other life look towards the things that rule in their interiors, thus to their loves, and it is the interiors that make the face of an angel or spirit. In the spiritual world also, there are no fixed quarters as in the natural world, but it is the face that determines them. Man also, in respect of his spirit, turns in the same way as a spirit does, backwards from the Lord, if he is in the love of self and of the world, and towards the Lord, if he is in love to him and the neighbour. But man does not know this, because he is in the natural world where the quarters are fixed according to the rising and setting of the sun. But as this cannot be easily comprehended by man, it will be elucidated in subsequent sections, which will treat of quarters, space, and time in heaven. Because the Lord is the Son of heaven, and all things from him look to him, the Lord is also the common centre, the source of all direction and determination. So too all things beneath are in his presence and under his auspices, both in the heavens and on earth. From these considerations, what has been said and shown in previous sections about the Lord may now be seen in clearer light, namely, that he is the God of heaven, that it is his divine that makes heaven, that the divine of the Lord in heaven is love to him and charity towards the neighbour, that there is a correspondence of all things of the world with heaven, and through heaven with the Lord. Also that the sun and moon of the world are correspondences.